Yay! Yay! Sono arrivato a Roma! Grazie ragazzi! Grazie bicicletta! Grazie a Kogamiata! Woo! Woo! Okay, so I have to go back a little bit. We were in Siena. I had 220 kilometers to go to Rome. I decided to do this in 2 days. I kind of knew it was going to be hard because it's Italy, it's not the Netherlands, it's not flat. So the first day I had 110 kilometers on my mind. The first half was kind of flat, but the second half was really only up and down. It was kind of crazy. But I biked for 7.5 hours like a madman. I was possessed. I wanted to get to Rome so bad. I just put all my energy in it, and I felt really, really good afterwards. You would think you would feel really shit after 7.5 hours of intense physical activity, but no, it's kind of nice. You sleep really well. And that's what I did. I tried to find a spot at Lago di Bolsena, which was a beautiful lake. The water was nice and warm. I had a nice swim. There were no camping sites open, so I put my tent up right next to the lake. It was beautiful. I wasn't scared at all, and this made me really happy. Because, like I said before, I was sort of trying to postpone camping in the wild. So once I had conquered that in Siena, and it were really bad conditions actually, yeah, I felt really comfortable putting it up right next to a really pretty lake. I mean, it's just one of the better things that could have happened. So did this, slept very nicely. Then I didn't have electricity though. But as they say, all roads lead to Rome. And I was like, okay, fuck it, I will just do it without. So I went until Viterbo. I knew in my mind that I had to go past Viterbo. I had seen it before on the map. And then I charged my phone somewhere. Also, it was funny because like from Como to Milano, my phone died, and I really, really hated this. I knew I could find my way to Milan, but I was just really missing the being able to communicate with the people I love. But at this point, I felt really comfortable that it was just okay if the phone died. So I was just like, okay, fine, we'll just continue. I'm almost in Rome anyway. So then the next day I had 110 kilometers more to do, but it was a little less up than it was down, so it was way easier. And I enjoyed the ride, and I got to Rome quite quickly. I would say the last 2 rides were hard, but like physically, but I was mentally doing very well. Also, the fact that I was almost here just made me very happy. So yeah, that went quite well. I had a host for the first night, which was super nice. And then since then I've been staying at an Airbnb because I wanted to have control over when I left and just have a key and just do whatever the fuck I want. And you guys helped me do this by your nice donations. So I got quite a cheap Airbnb, but it really worked out. It was really nice. And now I'm on the last day of being in Rome. Tomorrow I have a flight back with all my stuff, my guitar, my bike, and all of the other stuff. I still need to arrange some sort of suitcase. Just try to buy something super cheap. And I just checked out the Colosseum, and right now we are in another place. You should actually be able to figure out where I am. I think I will just keep walking, and then you can figure it out yourself. Maybe I will reveal it at the end of this video. So yeah, all in all, I biked a lot. I did it in 3 weeks and 1 day. I had a total of 5 rest days, of which 2 of which I used for making some money, just staying in the city. And I liked it was Strasbourg and Siena. Both of them were really nice. But maybe I should have stayed a day more in Basel, because that was also one of my favorite cities I visited so far. Yeah, just not so far on the journey. Let me check how many kilometers I did in total. So I checked. I did 1,815 kilometers. Oh my god, the weather is so nice here still. That's gonna be probably one of the things that I'll miss when I get back to the Netherlands tomorrow. Although I've always said that I don't mind the weather in the Netherlands, and I don't mind rain, I don't mind shitty weather, but come on, it's October, and yeah, it feels really good. I also got a nice tan going. You can't even see it on the camera. I think I've never been so brown before. Did you guess where we are right now already? Did you guess it? We are at Forum Romanum, which is basically the oldest, the most known meeting square in the world, I would say. It used to be sort of a marketplace. It used to be the center of ancient Rome, where basically just a lot of shit was happening. Commercial deals were happening here, judicial stuff, religious stuff. Basically, it was just the center of ancient Rome. It's quite nice to be walking through it. Although I would have to say that for me, what's been most impressive in Rome, besides the fact that it's just one giant museum and that everything looks just really old, everything is really ancient, and that's really, really cool. But for me, the works of art have been the best to look at, and it's the stuff I really wanted to see as well. I mean, I really like architecture, but I like it more when it's a form of art. Like, for instance, I really liked seeing the Colosseum. It was cool. It's nice to go in there. It's cool to see how big it is and how impressive it is. But as soon as you go in, you see it, and then you've seen it. You know, that's just. Yeah, you've just seen it. While, for instance, looking at Michelangelo's Pieta just took me 30 minutes to look at one statue, because it's just a completely lifelike statue. I think I said this before already. It's just, yeah, it just amazes me, and I'm probably not the only one, since it's one of the biggest attractions here. It's just completely crazy to me. But it's very nice to walk around here. It's actually crazy. You can see like big temples in the background. Yeah, also, like these things again, like these just you don't see on video how big they are. You really don't see this. It looks, first of all, it's really high. Like it looks like you can just walk up there. But look at the people there. You can see it for reference. Where is it? There. It's also incredibly hard to put your finger in the correct spot while filming. Somehow, this is something I need to learn. Yeah, I had an amazing trip today. I think I will also still check out Galleria Borghese, because there are a lot of statues made by Bernini there, and I mean, I already liked Bernini before I came here, but watching some of his stuff has made me love him and appreciate him even more. So I know there's quite a lot of his stuff over there, so I will try to go there as well. And then maybe we should talk a little bit about what I'm gonna do when I get home, because I mean, I have not been thinking about it all that much, but what I do know is that I want to keep making music and playing and making money with this, because for instance, like okay, I've been helped a lot by donations and stuff. And I needed this also, but mostly because I needed to come back. I needed to get all my stuff back, and I still have things I need to, like bills I need to pay at home while traveling and doing all this stuff. So yeah, it was just not easy to do. But when I get home, I want to just focus on the playing part, and maybe I'll drive a little bit as well. I mean, I mean, I live in Tilburg, and I can just drive my bike to Eindhoven or Den Bosch or whatever, and just go play there. I actually have an amplifier that I did not take on the trip because it was too heavy to take as well, along with the tent and all of this stuff. So yeah, that's one of the things I will try to do. So probably when I get back, you will see me play somewhere on a street near you, at least if you're Dutch. And then there's also the fact that I'm still wanting to release singles. I will release a single 2 weeks after I come back. I have to do only a couple things to it, so it's ready. And for now it will only be on Patreon, because I really don't see the point of putting it on Spotify or something else. Because yeah, why would I? You're just not gonna make a single cent out of it. And yeah, I can make it free, but then I can do this all the time, and then I can do what I want to do. So I think it's just a concession I'm gonna have to make if I want to make money with it, if I want to keep on doing this all of the time. So this place used to be muddy and swampy. It's in between two hills, the Capitoline Hill, Campidoglio, as I told you about before, on the square that Michelangelo designed, and Palatine Hill, which is actually, it's right behind me. I cannot show you because it's right behind me. Basically, behind all this stuff. Actually, I think that's also part of the Palatine Hill. So basically this was down a lot, so it was muddy and swampy, and they had all the water removed by a thing called the Cloaca Maximum, which made me laugh, because a cloaca, I believe, is also the word for the hole through which ducks relieve themselves, through which everything comes, pee and shit and whatever, but actually it's Latin for sewer. And maximum is probably like, means big, biggest. So it's the biggest sewer. And they basically just drained all of this water shit and swamp so that they could build here. A lot of forums were like designed, you know, and they were mostly designed after Greek design. But this is one of the first fora in the world that was basically that was created organically. So yeah, they basically just settled here one by one. They tried to control it a little bit, but they didn't. Even though there were just a lot of different emperors and people that wanted new buildings, so a lot of temples are here as well. And it's really hard to say how old it is here, because everything is different of age. Like it can go from, I think, from like 6th century BC or something, right until a couple hundred years after Christ. So it's kind of an amalgamation again of a lot of different shit. And now for some Wikipedia history lessons about Rome. We go check out some buildings, and I try to guess what time it was built. So behind me is the Pantheon, which is one of my favorite Roman buildings. This was made in the 2nd century. It's the 3rd time they tried to build it, and I think the dome there, I mean, yeah, you can almost can't see it, but it has a dome, and it was the biggest dome structure until I think 1450 or something, when it was surpassed by the Duomo of Florence, which I also saw. And I'm really excited to see the oculus in the middle. I think for like there's basically a hole in the center through which the light shines, and this is something I've wanted to check out since I read about it when I was a little boy. So right now I'm gonna go inside and check it out. It was so cool. By the way, I forgot to say that Pantheon means devoted to all the gods. And right now it's still used as a church, I think for Maria. So, I will shut up for a minute. Look at this shit, oh my god. It's fucking crazy. So I'm here at Piazza Navona. This used to be an old racing track, that's why it has like sort of an oval shape. So I'm actually wanting to drive past there, but there's too many tourists. So look, there's behind me, you can see this. There's a giant fucking church here. And this was made by Borromini. And the fountain here behind me is, I think, Fontana dei Quattro Fiumi, which means fountain of the Great Four Rivers. So basically, I think it's the Donau, the Nile, the Ganges, and another one. It's made by Vanini, and as you can see, one of the, like two of the, at least one or two of the characters in the fountain are like sort of being scared and going behind. And this would indicate that the church was badly built because Borromini and Bernini hated each other and they were very big rivals. That's the story I very much like. It's a crazy city, you should come watch this. So behind me is a crazy big building. Again, you don't see this from the video. It's really hard to see, but this thing is fucking huge. It's huge. It's fucking huge. It's a thing called the Altare della Patria, which means altar of the fatherland, and was built in honor of Vittorio Emanuele II, who was the first king of a unified Italy, if I am correct, in 1878 or something like this. He fought against he had some stuff to do with Garibaldi, the guy we saw earlier. I think we saw him in Lucca. I think he was from Lucca. I don't know anymore. But this thing is really beautiful and it's fucking huge. And this thing is fucking gigantic. Look, just to give you a slightly different perspective. Now fucking you still can't see it. God damn it! What the fuck is up with these cameras? Okay. Anyway, this thing is on the beginning of the Capitolian Hill, or Capitolium. I think Capitolio in Italian. It's one of the 7 hills of Rome. And on the other side, there's supposed to be a square designed by Michelangelo, which is the thing I'm going to check out tomorrow in the light. Because as I said before, I'm a giant Michelangelo fan and I want to see this in its full glory. So yeah, that's where we're going tomorrow. But for now, Altare della Patria. Oh, so we're back at the Altare della Patria because I want to add one thing. Because I found out later that the people of Rome hate this thing because Mussolini gave speeches here. So for them it's a symbol of fascism, and that's why they hate it. Apparently all tourists love it, so I was not the only one. I was at least impressed. But yeah, just so you know. Right now we are at one of Michelangelo's works, which is Piazza del Campidoglio. It's fucking beautiful. I'm gonna try and take you on a little tour of it. So this is a very old, so it's on the top of Capitoline Hill in English. It's the Campidoglio, and it's one of the 7 hills, and it's the most important hill of Rome. And there was only one of, so you have one palace over here, one palace over there, but there was only one before, and this piazza was in a bad state, so a pope ordered Michelangelo to make it better. So he made another one of these so that it would be facing something, so that it's more symmetrical. And then he designed a new facade for the Palazzo del Senatorio, I believe. I don't know if I think that's the name. Basically, this is where the Roman Senate used to be, and right now it's basically the mayor's house. The mayor is in there, and then in the middle there is a statue of Marcus Aurelius, and Marcus Aurelius is also actually one of my favorite writers. So yeah, you should go check it out. His Meditations book is amazing. Yeah, it's just amazing. I'm a really big fan of Michelangelo, and you can see easily why this piazza, it's just fucking beautiful. Right there in the middle we have a statue of Minerva, And on the top there, can you see the tower? The tower used to be in Viterbo. It's actually one of the places I went through when I was driving from Lago di Bolsena to Rome. They basically took it, probably when they were just stampeding through, they took the whole tower. Yeah, it's an amazing place. You should definitely come here. I will say this in every single little clip. And Minerva was the goddess of basically human creativeness, thinking and wisdom. That's probably very appropriate for Michelangelo. By the way, this Michelangelo never saw this work completed. Other people, I don't know who, other people finished it for him, but meticulously, so it's exactly the way he wanted it to be. And it's fucking gorgeous. Just look at it. So, I'm in the Vatican. I'm surprised they let me in. This is Corte della Pina, or Court of the Pine, because there is a very big statue of a pine cone. This is interesting because it also resembles the pineal gland in the brain, which is an organ that's found in reptiles and I think amphibians, where it's a light receptor. And in humans it's also present, but in kids it's really large, and it actually decreases in size once you get older. It also produces melatonin, which takes care of your day and night rhythm. And there are some stories and scientific theories that it also produces DMT. And this is interesting to me because it's sort of related to the third eye and sort of seeing more than what you can usually see. So it's kind of contradictory, I would say, to have it in a square in the Vatican. But it's here. It used to be a fountain, by the way, so that's why there's some stuff like there on it, and there used to be water coming out of it. I think it's really interesting. Right now we are in the octagonal courtyard. So if you wanna fight, then you do it here. And behind me is a statue called the Blau Kolm. I don't actually know if that's the right pronunciation. But the story is that this is a priest. It's a priest who had warned the Trojans about bringing in the horse from the Greeks. There were two gods, I think, Athens and Poseidon, who were mad about this because they sided with the Greeks, of course, and they sent two snakes to kill the priest. This is a very important statue for the Romans because there was one priest who heeded the call of the one who predicted that they should not take in the horse. And this guy later fled to Rome, and Rome did not exist yet, and he was one of the forefathers of Romulus and Remulus, which are the founders of Rome. So this is a very important statue for the Romans. And here you can have a look at the octagonal square. And now for the undisputed. No. This behind me right here, right there. Why is it so hard to get my finger in? That is Apollo del Belvedere. It was basically the first statue in the Vatican art collection, and until the 19th century actually it was considered the ideal male body. So have a good look at this. He's supposed to be shooting an arrow effortlessly. I don't see a bow, but it's okay. So do you know this Emperor Nero? The guy who was fucking crazy. We had this application also where you burn CDs. It's because Nero burned down Rome at some point. This was his bathtub. Look at this. It's made from porphyry, which is like the most dense, hard to cut stone in the fucking world. And this guy was like, I want a giant bath of this. and I want it in my golden house. And they were like, okay. So look at it, it's fucking gorgeous. It's purple. I think probably like the name is also something to do with purple. Purple is also already the most expensive color to make. So purple has ever since I don't know how long been connected to regal colors, to royal stuff, because it's really expensive to make. Look at this. Crazy. Besides the story of the pineal gland, which I told you earlier, we have another thing that they knew before science knew it, which is a staircase and a double helix. It's very hard to show. Oh yeah, so there's the other entrance, and here's the first one. So it's a double helix, just like DNA. We found this out way later. Oh my god, it's really pretty. I'm inside the St. Peter, and it's really beautiful. But I just saw Pieta by Michelangelo. I can't enjoy this anymore. It's so fucking beautiful. It looked like she can just stand up and walk off the altar with Jesus in her hands. It's fucking lifelike. It's the most crazy thing I've ever seen. To me, that was the
statue of St. Peter.
The pinnacle.
Like a senator, but he is
I mean, look at the stuff behind me. I'm just not even impressed by it anymore. So we are in St. Peter's Basilica, and what you see behind me here and above me is what's called a baldachin, and it was designed and made by Bernini, and it's supposed to mark the burial site of St. Peter, one of the apostles of Jesus, and that's why, of course, it's called St. Peter's Basilica. It's St. Peter's Square. Yeah, but I'm still too moved from Pieta. Like I almost can't enjoy it, even though it's quite amazing. I'm eating a real carbonara, a Roman carbonara with guanciale, the cheeks of the pig. And the eggs that have not been cooked the shit out of. It's fucking tasty. It's really fucking good. Oh my god. Look, it's another pine cone. So, when Romulus wanted to found Rome in the 8th century BC, there were a lot of tribes surrounding the area. They were ruled by the Sabines, but the Sabines did not allow the women to marry people from Rome. This angered them, so they planned to basically abduct all of these women from the Sabines, whatever, and take them so that they could marry them and so that they could make more kids so that Rome could grow. So they did this. Then there was a war with the Sabines, and the Sabines almost won, because there was a girl named Tarpeia who opened the gates of Rome to the Sabines in trade for the bracelets around of their arms, so for a bit of gold basically. This did not work, and in the end she was thrown off of this rock, basically off of this top of this hill, now known as the Tarpeian Rock, of which they later just threw all the traders off. So all the traders were basically thrown off this rock. I think right at my feet here, thousands of people must have died. So, not a fun history lesson with Nick. San Giovanni in Laterano, dedicated to Saint John the Baptist. The hill where it's on used to be owned by a family called Lateran. I think that's why it's called in Laterano. This is known as the mother of all churches, if I'm correct, because it's the first church that was built in Rome by Emperor Constantine. It's really huge. Again, you don't see this. We're gonna go inside. Okay, that was it for the history lessons with Nick. And that was it for Rome. I am back in the Netherlands, as you can probably see. Yeah, it's nice weather here, completely grey, of course. But I don't give a shit. I'm very happy to be back. I had a crazy trip. All in all, it was really ridiculous. Thank you all for supporting me. Yeah, couldn't have done it without you, and it was amazing to share all of this with you and to get the feedback. I want to add in a calculation. I did a calculation of how many meters I went up, which ended up in about 17.5 kilometers. So I could have biked into the stratosphere if I would have been able to bike straight up, which of course I'm not. Yeah, basically I saw everything of Michelangelo that I wanted to see, apart from one statue, which is not one of the more important ones. I did not film all of these. I did not film, not really, in the Vatican. I did not really film. Yeah, sometimes I was just too captivated by stuff to show you. I just completely forgot to to film it. Even though I was actually inside the Sistine Chapel for, I think, more than an hour. Yeah, I was in there for an hour and 20 minutes because I got there. I booked the earliest tour basically, and it's not really a tour, they just let you in. You can skip the line. So I booked the earliest one at 9. There were already some people there, but I decided to just run straight past all the other exhibitions, run to the Sistine Chapel, because I knew that, yeah, it would probably be really busy, and I heard that this just really impedes your fun. So when I arrived there, I think it was only like 25% full, and I was just able to enjoy it for, yeah, like I said, more than an hour. I was in there. It was amazing. I would say it's almost a religious experience, but yeah, you would guess that it's the Sistine Chapel. So, hey, hello geese. Hello geese. How are you doing here? Ah! Calm down. Yeah, I had a really great time watching that stuff, and then actually I think Pieta moved me even more. I mean, I only looked at it for about 30 minutes, but that's only one statue, so I think that's even crazier than looking at the. It was just, the Pieta is like Michelangelo's Pieta is so beautiful, and it looks so fucking real. Maria looks like she can just stand up, walk down the altar, and just hand over Jesus to you. That's just how real it looks, and it's just, yeah, it's completely beautiful. So I might have been a little distracted at those moments from vlogging, from you guys. Yeah, I had such an amazing time. But I think actually the thing that I learned most from the trip, and was just actually the most beautiful thing, was just the people I met everywhere and how nice everybody was to me. Like at some point I didn't even have to tell people anymore what I was doing, and they just started to give me stuff. I think the world is a beautiful place with beautiful people in it, and we might have problems, and everybody might have some. And yeah, the world might have a lot of them, but it's just an amazing place. And I think all you really need to do, at least that's what it showed to me, is that you just need to keep your head up and just smile, and the world will just smile back. I've said it quite a couple of times, and I think right now I should just stop it for a while, because I've just been saying it way too much. but I think that's just what I learned from it. And I already knew this to some extent. It's actually one of the Nick and the Doorsnare songs from the first album. But yeah, this just really reaffirmed my belief, and it just made me love the world around me even more. So right now, what I'm going to do, tomorrow it's Tuesday, and I'm going to ride to Eindhoven on my bicycle, because why would I pay for the train if I can just go there in like an hour or something? I'm actually just as fast as public transport in such a distance. I will go there, go to the studio, work on, actually I need to update some software, then work on the single that I want to release, and then I will go play on the streets in Eindhoven with the amp that I got before I left for Rome, and I will just play and try to earn some money. Then I will put up some advertisements for guitar lessons again, so people can hit me up, and we will just try to keep this train rolling. Yeah, so you can follow that on Patreon and go find the single. Maybe if you're very patient, it might end up on YouTube at some point for free. Yeah, don't really have anything more to say for today. You will just hear from me again pretty soon. Let's see what we can figure out. Shit.